How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lo4f, and today I'm going to go and do, it's a bit of a shorter, simple mission. I'm on the Harvest Court map, and I'm going to do the mission called Unfinished Bridge, where I've just got to kind of nip down to a warehouse, grab 2 lots of metal beams, and then deliver them. Yeah, it's just like a main bridge on this Harvest Court map, which is not the end of the world, because the detour around it isn't that bad really anyway, but I was just looking at some other contracts, and there's a couple of times where I could theoretically use this route, so I suppose instead of doing all of the missions, like that's normally the way I go around, and it's not that bad anyway. But yeah, as it's a bridge to get fixed, I may as well do it instead of just being one of the last missions when it's kind of useless. So yeah, gonna nip down to that garage, 2 lots of metal beams, and then just sort of follow the road along and get to the bridge. For this one, I'm taking the Voron Grad, but I need 2 lots of metal beams, so I could have done with a ramped flatbed. But unfortunately, I think it's a bad idea on their part. Like this Harvest Court garage, it's cool that you can get a garage and like get one built in the Harvest Court map, but it kind of feels like it's in no man's land, especially as the exit to the garage is kind of facing away from the map, hence why I'm kind of driving out and then cutting across the countryside now. But yeah, as there's also no trailer store as well, there's not much incentive to start a mission off from there. Because essentially, like, especially by now, looking at all the missions, there's usually stuff you got to collect and all the rest of it. So it's nice. I just prefer to, when you've got a trailer store at the actual garage, you can just kind of build what setup you want and everything, and then set off in like one big group from the garage and sort of get it done in one run. But yeah, in this phase, particularly lately, there seems to be a lot of just random sort of messing around. So in the end, I decided to take a twin stair and just kind of use that as a impromptu ramped flatbed, which funnily enough I didn't think it'd be possible, but this thing actually tips quicker and easier than the ramped flatbed does these days. And new as well. There was a little stupid bush in front of it. I knew the winch would have to grab that one instead. Yeah, when I was looking tonight, I was going to do the contract. What was it called? I think it was Living Space, where it's you have to deliver 2 cabins, like in theory, but then there's loads of other fluff around the mission that as I was going through it and planning it, it was just like it was a bit too late in the night really to get stuck into it, because yeah, the video would end up being really late. Otherwise, I just wouldn't get the footage and editing done in time. But in this phase, yeah, with the cabins, like, there's a place on the Heartlands map where you can go and build the cabins, but you need cargo containers and consumables, and I'm pretty certain I went around all the warehouses again. There's nowhere to get the cargo containers from, and what you do, and again, I appreciate it, people have told me this already, there's a contest in the kind of yard where your garage is in Heartlands, and when you start that, it spawns a cargo container on the map pretty close to where you got to build the cabins. So that's just kind of like a workaround where you can, yeah, spawn them. But as I was looking at it, it's just odd, because that's why I was originally going to set off from the Harvest Court map. Before you deliver the cabins, the game just says visit the technical centre or whatever it is. Like, there's quite a few missions to do it. There's one on the last set of contracts to do with like delivering solar panels, but after you've delivered one set of solar panels, it just says drive to the Institute map and go and visit another stupid place. They sort of seem, I don't know, like they've just added random, yeah, just visit places in the Institute map, and they've just kind of slapped them in the middle of contracts, which just feels a little bit, I don't know, like sort of like they're trying to pad it out, and I don't really know why, because some of the contracts actually seem like a pretty decent size on their own. That's what she said, of course. Yeah, so then I was already on the Harvest Court map. That's what I built the Voron Grad for. I was originally going to take that and do that mission, and then when I was looking, like, yeah, the cargo containers, you've also got to get consumables, and then I was looking around all the different warehouses, and the first place I found anyway that has consumables is the train yard on the Crossroads map that is like down in the bottom left hand corner. So I'm gonna have to, yeah, it's just a hell of a lot of driving again really, which in theory I wouldn't mind, but because they've killed the gearboxes so badly on this phase, I'm kind of not enjoying the long drives as much as I normally would. It's a bit of a shame as well, because overall I really do, I like these maps and all the rest of it, but yeah, that side of it, like as I'm going through it, I've also kind of been a little bit bottlenecked again with the contracts. There's most of them are like locked on each little bunch of contracts, so I'm kind of limited to which ones I can do. I assume eventually I'll do one that'll kind of unlock a bulk and it'll allow me to kind of pick from 3 or 4 different contracts per little group. Basically, after I left the warehouse, I've got the metal beams. I already kind of knew, this is why I was using the Voron Grad as a lead vehicle anyway, but just for my own kind of peace of mind and to find out, I just quickly used the twin steer as the lead vehicle. But yeah, in high gear, I mean, this thing used to be an absolute machine in high gear. But even when you tow in vehicles like I am now, you kind of get a little bit of a speed cap on the go, which is already enough of a pain in the arse on most phases. But yeah, just between that and like the weak gearboxes, the twin steer really doesn't like to sit in high gear when it's towing a vehicle. So yeah, I just started running it like it was dying down in the high gear. It was going to keep doing the stalling thing, so I switched back to the Voron. And there's one thing I've always liked about the Voron. That's kind of why I got it out tonight. Was it's high gear, even though they've kind of broke the gearboxes for the most part on this phase. The high gear's always been really nice on the Voron Grad, and you can see now I'd argue it's a pretty decent pace considering I'm doing like a road trading situation essentially. Even though they're kind of putting a speed cap on you, it's just the gearbox, the high gear in the Voron Grad, so nice and smooth that it actually kind of fights through where it wants to slow you down, just keeps going, winds up to a pretty nice pace in the end. And yeah, overall this is a really short mission. It's funny as well because some of the longer missions that are just kind of padded out with stupid stuff, I don't really, it's not that I don't like doing them, it's the stupid element to it that kind of feels like a bit of a waste of time. But then on the at the same time, I'm not too keen on these little missions that only take sort of, even less than 10 minutes. You sort of feel like you're barely getting into the game and then you've already done it. So yeah, it's one of them. I can't win. I've got to pick the short ones or the longer missions. And one of the contracts anyway. What the hell is it called? Damage evaluation. I've still got to. I might at this point just restart the whole mission because I've got to go and collect them cisterns on the Institute map. And yeah, they're 5 slots. So the truck I took, that again, it's just like go and visit this, I don't know, science station or whatever it was that time. And there doesn't really seem to be a lot of point to it. So yeah, I'm not too keen on this whole like just keep visiting places. I wouldn't mind if there was like something when you're there, because even when I was going through the cabin mission, when you actually click on the cabins, it takes you over to an oversized cargo that's on the Institute map, and clearly it's not a cabin and there's no cabins appear there. But yeah, there's definitely as far as some of the missions go, there's a few little bugs that really they should have ironed out by now. Normally I'd like, for the first week or so you get little bugs going on and I can sort of live with that, but yeah, normally when they release a patch it solves all that, whereas this time when they did, it just didn't really fix anything. And then I assume now they've just kind of moved on to getting that phase 3 ready. And then yeah, this is the bridge, bit of a big one, that's what she said of course. Pretty simple though, like I say, just 2 metal beams. There is other options to do it. I could have set off from the Heartlands garage and then built 2 metal beams with like there's an area where you got a generator and you can craft cargo. I could have done it that way, but as I was already on the Harvest map, I just kind of wanted a reason to set off from the Harvest map garage, or the Harvest Corp garage, sorry. But like I said, because it's sort of so much in no man's land and there's no trailer store nearby, it's kind of not really convenient for doing a lot of stuff. But yeah, anyway, we've got this one built. I was just kind of looking as I was cutting across there. I don't think you'd be able to cut across the water. I think it'd probably even drown a P12, which is one of the taller vehicles in the game. But yeah, anyway, like I say, it's a little one, but that's about it for today. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Thanks for my Patreon members. Get yourself a loaf, because he didn't need to do much today, but he's still a goddamn professional. And I'll be back soon.